get a lot of people writing on Tumblr, like, they really want, like, really granular details about how exactly we produce the show. And I get a lot of those questions, and I'm like, gosh, I start to explain it, and then I'm like, this is boring, right? And they're like, no, tell us who did this drawing in this scene, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so thinking about that and knowing we were coming to this today, I brought in a scene that I did with Sabrina Coutinho. Do you all know Sabrina? Yeah, Sabrina's great. She's a board artist on our show. She's going to be a director. I can say that, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. She'll be a director on our 4th season. And we when we were doing the episode Bon Bon the Birthday Clown, it had all these really intense moments as action, as us seeing Marco and Jackie together, really for the first time. Anyway, so this scene was storyboarded like 3 or 4 times from the beginning until it ended up in this animatic. I think one thing Aaron's going to talk about is when we, as the supervising producers, kind of come in and start tooling with stuff. We had a lot of great versions of this scene, but there just was always something that we wanted to get out of it. We couldn't really put our finger on it, and it was kind of one of those things that I think we figured out in the middle of the night, literally, like just storyboarding, and Aaron and I were working with our editor. So I worked with some of what Sabrina had, and I storyboarded and kind of wrote a new scene around it. And by that point, we had already recorded most of the episode. We already had Adam in and Gray, who is the voice of Jackie. And it had to ship. You know, we had to send the episode out, so we ended up shipping it with Scratch, and we recorded a lot of the dialogue in the editing room as we were putting it together. So this was kind of, you know, the wet paint version of this story, and that's where we animated. When we got it back, we had Gray and Adam come in and do their magic on it. So we'll just play the scene.
So this is Scratch, right?
Yeah, this is Scratch, and what we do is we'll record the Scratch, and then we pitch it up because we can't stand listening to our own voices. So I think it's mostly me. Maybe you did some lines in it too. Some of Adam's lines from the previous draft are still in there because we kept some of the original version of the story, and some of Gray's still in there, but there's new stuff. So anyway, this is the scene. Marco and Jackie.
I always thought you pitched it up because it sounds so much more manly.
No,
it's a
it's
little closer pitched up. Like
no, it's selfish. It's about us hating the sound of our own voices. So here it is.
Okay, got that? All right. Now, stir in the cereal.
Got it.
And then we add just one malted milk ball. Me? You?
You sure about this?
Jackie, trust the chef.
All right, you're the boss. Marco, it's terrible.
Really? This was the last time I had it. Oh, you're right.
You're adorable when you laugh at yourself.
What?
Relax, dude.
I'm relaxed.
Seriously, why are you so nervous?
I don't know. Because it's a date, and you're super cool, and I'm just afraid of messing up.
Marco, you already messed up.
What?
Yeah. You puked on my lap in 3rd grade. You broke my skateboard. And then there was that weird box thing you got trapped in at Star Sleepover.
Okay,
You
okay,
sent me anonymous text messages of cats.
alright, point taken.
Little neck guy that came out of your neck.
Jackie, I don't want to see you look at it.
You know what I like about you? Is that even after a humiliating, crushing defeat, you just pick yourself right back up and you hop right back on. Kind of like skateboarding.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to skateboard. No, I never. What are you doing?
Well,
No. What are you? Come on, no. You're gonna do is that for me? No, forget it.
Martha, do it for me.
Don't.
Do you trust me?
yeah, I do.
Okay, I'm done.
So kind of a fun fact with that is, we have a standards and practices department that will give us notes on everything. You can't do this or whatever. Definitely anytime a character is on a skateboard or a bicycle, they absolutely have to be wearing a helmet. They're in water, they absolutely have to be wearing a life vest. And I think that Sabrina really found a clever way for those helmets to appear, because that's always a question if they're just out and here's the skateboard, here's some helmets, where do they come from? So, just kind of have to work with that. And then I'm going to give the microphone over to Aaron.
Hello. So, when Karen asked me to bring something in, it was really hard to pick an episode to talk about, because as supervisor producers, we're involved in so much, and in the 2nd season, actually, Dominic and I, we were in a rotation, a storyboard rotation, on top of supervising all the other episodes going on, and doing records and doing post-production. And to top that off, we thought that we could actually storyboard as well. That was foolish. I'll just say that right now, bad idea. So we ended up storyboarding, Ludo in the Wild. We storyboarded Into the Wand. We did Hungry Larry. And these are not easy episodes to do. These are really challenging. So anyway, I decided to show a little bit of Into the Wand, which I think it's a good episode to talk about, because it was right at the middle of the season when we were about to, the story was about to turn a corner, and we knew that we're going to start introducing a lot of mythology. We're going to start to get into a little bit of the history of the Queens of Muni. We're going to hint at the presence of toffee. So there was a lot of really juicy material in there. So, and one of the things as I was looking at that episode, I realized was this story evolved right until the very, very end. And that's what happens with every episode that we do, is we write these outlines, and there's so much in there that we keep, but there's also a lot that we actually add to after that. So there are a lot of ideas, like, I don't know how well you guys remember that episode, but there was the element of Star going inside of her wand, and Gloucester tells her that the wand houses her memories. And she didn't really know what that meant, but the danger of that was that the longer she's in there, her memories her old memories are being replaced by new ones. And so all of a sudden, we came up with the idea that she would end up duplicating and end up replacing. She could potentially be replaced by herself, by memory of herself. Now these were things that didn't actually that weren't in the original outline. There were a lot of things actually that didn't come out until way later in the story. So anyway, do you want to play? Yeah, you can play.
Yeah, do you want to play or would you go for
Why don't you play that spot and then I'll talk about it a little bit more.
Oh wait, which part do you want?
Why don't you go to when she sees the figure?
It's so quiet.
The immortal master will long be haunted by the darkest spell of Moon the Undaunted. My mom brought toffee?
You're back! Sorry.
No, it's fine. And did you find the thing that doesn't belong?
Well, I found Marco's hoodie, and my dad's chair, and little Chauncey over there. But all these things belong in my memories.
Listen, did you see yourself?
Uh-huh.
All right, that's not good. That's not good. We gotta get out of here. Step into my eyeball. Yes, that's what I said. Come on, come on.
Wait, but I didn't fix my watch. That's the thing that doesn't belong. That's the thing that doesn't belong.
Stop. We've got to go now. Just flat.
Yeah, so that's a challenging story. There were a few elements in there that would not be outlined. So one being Little Chauncey. That was something that we came up with in the middle of storyboarding. Also, the other thing was the idea of Star. Sort of like her memories when she gets in there, all of a sudden just creating new memories. It's almost like putting two mirrors and facing each other. All of a sudden there's like this memory loop, and that became the danger. Originally in the outline, the danger was if you're in the one too long and it will destroy the world. We thought, oh, that's pretty broad. Let's get really specific with this and make it fair. Like, let's make the danger here really about Star. So that was another element. And then just as an example of how sometimes these ideas don't come in until very late in the game. If you look at the time code for these panels,
Sometimes they're day modified.
5 a.m. Yeah, that was just before we were supposed to screen that episode the next day. So that's how far this stuff goes sometimes, is we come up with this stuff at the very last minute. And in fact, there's even more. Look at the name of the file. Maze, right?
Oh yeah, it was a different.
That was the original title of this episode. It wasn't until after we had finished it that we said, you know what, this title doesn't make any sense. Let's call this Into the One. And then another thing that came up in post-production was, as soon as Star grabs the finger, you see these flashes and all these images. Well, if you guys are familiar with that story, we also included a flash of Eclipsa in that. And that wasn't something that came in until post-production. So just, I thought that it would be good to talk about the fact that, like, you know, we start these with 2-page outlines, but that story evolves so drastically from that point until the moment that you guys see that episode actually air, that there are new things that come up even after we've gotten the animation back. That's how far we go with our stories. So,
Yeah, that's something that Adam can speak to too, is our actors have to be very good at ADR as well, because we do end up with a lot of this scratch and things that are rewritten. Yeah, these shows, you know, we're doing all these episodes at the same time. I mean, sort of like, I guess, like the quick thing on the timeline is it's every single Monday we have to start writing a new episode. By that Friday, it has to be done. So we're writing an episode a week. And then then we have 6 board teams going all at the same time, and they're each doing a board. So like every single week, basically a board is done, an animatic is done, some animation is locked. We have a mix every 2 weeks. We're doing records every single week. We're doing all these different things. So all the episodes are kind of happening at once. So like right now where we're at, I'm sure you guys would be kind of excited to know that, we just started post on, or no, we just did our first mix. We're fairly into post on season 3. We just did our mix for the first episode of season 3, so that, you know, it's the first time we're putting like sound and music to the animation, and then we're already writing season 4. So, and we are still boarding season 3. There's still storyboards happening for season 3. There's still animatics happening for season 3. So now we're doing ADR records, like post records for season 3, and we're going to be starting records on season 4. It's a lot of things. It's all like very exciting. And now let me pass the mic to Adam.
I have one. I brought my own. It's a voice actor thing. We just bring my whatever. Actually, that's not true. I do have one. How's it going, guys? So, I love my job so much.
We love you.
Oh, thank you. So, Darren asked me, she asked me what episode I wanted to talk about, and I said, I know which episode. So actually, yeah, to speak about like what you were talking about as far as the process for me goes when I get called in to work on an episode, a lot of times I just have a script. There's a storyboard that they'll flip through. If something needs clarification, like if we need to know how loud Marco's yelling for Star or something like that, we'll like flip through the storyboard. But for the most part, it's just a script, and we'll do it a bunch of different ways, and then they take everything that I did, and hopefully it works. And if it doesn't, once they get it back, and Dominic's gone in and redone all the lines that he hates that I did, then I'll go in and record again and do what Darren said, which is ADR. Which I literally can never remember what it means, but I always just think I always just say after done recording. Because I'm going back in after done recording.
You know what? I don't know what it stands for.
I think it's like automated digital.
Automated dialogue replacement.
Oh, thank you, Troy.
Troy, everybody, Troy. If you look at my internet search history, you will see that I've looked up ADR like 350 times. I just cannot retain that piece of information.
Do you want to tell them about? There's kind of a funny story with adult Marco, because we were considering getting a different voice actor.
Oh yeah.
for adult Marco, because we wanted a different sound, and also we just weren't sure if Adam could quite sound old enough.
It's okay.
But he totally schooled us.
It was pretty funny. So I go in and they're like, oh yeah, this, you know, we have this episode coming up and there's gonna be an adult Marco. And first of all, I'm like, I can't wait already. that we're gonna see this. It's gonna be awesome. And then yeah, Darren told me all that, and I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh heck no. There can be only one. What can I do? How? I called my mom. I was like, Mom, how do I sound like a man? I called my wife. I was like, what do you look for in a guy? What can I do? So, and yeah, we just, I think what sort of helped me get there was you mentioned, I'm totally blanking right now. What's the movie with the guy in the front of the car with the guitar? It's a remake that just came, Mad Max thing. They referenced Mad Max, like we need Marco to have this sort of like Mad Maxy vibe, like he's just been worn down by the land. And I was like, yeah. I'm feeling this. And so that's how adult Marco, which is
how he was born.
That's how he was born. Are we showing anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
so great.
Yeah.
Where's Marco?
Star!
You stranger?
It's me, Marco. See? We have so much to catch up on. Learn how to sword fight, move on army, swoop in. And then, jet skied off a waterfall. Isn't that cool? It took me 16 years, but I totally earned these scissors.
16 years? You've been gone from Earth for like 8 minutes.
8 minutes?
I forgot to tell you that time passes differently in this dimension. Not sorry. This is good. It means you haven't missed anything back on Earth. Come on, use your new scissors to take us home.
Yeah, about that. I don't think I'm coming back. Turns out I really like my new life here. I got my sword, my dragon cycle. I get to ride around all day and go on adventures whenever I want. It's the journey, you know.
Yeah, so that episode was super fun for me. That part of the clip that we just showed to you, when we got to that part of the script, I had been thinking about it. I usually get my scripts maybe like a day ahead of time, so I always read through my scripts and I just, take note of anything that I need to make sure that I'm doing what I guess instinctually I would do, and then obviously I'm getting direction in the booth. But for that part specifically, when I read that, I'm like, oh, so Marco's got this like super hard exterior. He just gets finished giving this like epic speech to Hecapoo about how he's like, traveled all over and found, finally found her and all that stuff. I think maybe I should just start talking like that all the time.
Yeah, well, I love that clip in particular because it's a combo of tough Marco and then, but his who we know he is coming out when you see Star. He's still Marco.
Exactly. I wanted him to feel very like worn down by the land, like we had talked about. But as soon as he saw Star, he sort of snaps out of it a little bit, or you see a glimpse, exactly the way you said, a glimpse of 14-year-old Marco. Yeah! And it is. I'm not so good. It's recording. It's bang.
It's Marco. Why are you mentally now, or is he just repressed those 16 years?
I think we're going to be doing a Q&A.
Save that question so we can not answer it later. Passing it on down.
Yeah, let's slide on down to Brian. Brian is our composer. Brian does all the music on the entire show.
That's not 100% true. I didn't write the theme song, unfortunately.
But we haven't found it yet.
Yeah, I came much later after that. And every now and then there's a little song that Dominic will write for the show. Like the thing that Oscar plays at the season finale, right before his keyboard is like whizzed off, and he's like, "It's a good moving honors." Dominic wrote that one and recorded that himself, and it's pretty cool.
Anything that's horrible, any music in the show that's horrible.
So I was going to talk a little bit about kind of how the sausage is made, and especially, in particular, I'm going to talk a little bit about Face the Music and the song that we did with Patrick. But most of the time, I come in like at the very end. Like all the writing staff has gone home. I never see them because I work from my house, and I just go to Disney Studios like once every 2 weeks and meet with Darren, Dominic, and Aaron most of the time. And that's sort of the only people that I'm like just beginning to meet people on the show. Like the first Gallery Nucleus event, I was like, who's that? And everybody, Zach had to tell me who everybody was. Anyway, so for Face the Music, I got brought on really early because obviously there's this big 4-minute musical number at the end of the episode, and they needed to animate it, and they couldn't animate it before I wrote it, because if I wrote it after the fact, then it wouldn't make any sense. So what I did was, when they were very early in the process, I went in for a meeting with Sabrina. Is Sabrina here, by the way? Okay, good. I'm going to show a video of her singing. with Sabrina and Amelia. Sabrina did the second half of the episode, Amelia did the first half. And they would just sort of go through like this presentation of the storyboards and give a little sense of like what they thought the song might sound like eventually. So I'm going to show you about a minute of that meeting. It was pretty long, and that's this first clip. And so you'll hear me laughing, and you'll hear Sabrina describing what's going on. And this is the storyboard that they showed me. And you'll notice that some of these are earlier lyrics. So like Aaron and Dominic were saying how script things will change, song lyrics often change during the process too. So some of these lyrics are different.
She lost her number one glass and wore a constant beat. She's got all of her crown, so hail to the queen. We're queen here. Of course, people are curious. And start that, because she was sitting on the road, don't have a light. She's a thunderstorm, going through the night. So she's a shooting star and she's lighting up the sky. Look at this big fast time session. I was super curious, super pumped.
Alright, so that's all I got I was going to show you. I'm just going to talk about that part. What's also weird for me is like, I think I've only scored like 1 or 2 episodes of that season, and that was like the second to last episode, so I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who Romulus is, I don't know who these characters are. It's like, we got a song, we gotta write it. I'm like, okay. So then I take that, and then I get a bunch of a long email, phone conversation, and they're like, okay, for this section of the song, we're thinking like something that's sort of inspired by like Scissor Sisters and like kind of like Pink maybe a little bit, like the harder stuff. And so then I go home in my studio and I write a demo, and I sing all of the parts. So most of the time I don't ever put these online because they're kind of embarrassing. But I will play that middle section of the song. This is my favorite section of the song. I think it's a lot of people's favorite section of the song. There's a lot of questions like that on Tumblr asking like if we're going to turn that section of the song into a new theme song for the show, which we're not. But this is me, and so it's heavily auto-tuned for 2 reasons. One, it's so I only sing it like 2 or 3 times because I'm usually doing it really fast and I don't really have time to do like 12 takes to get it perfectly right. And second, we're sending this to somebody who has 0 context of where it is a lot of the time. So when Patrick gets this, the vocal part that he's hearing, it needs to be perfect so that when he goes into the studio later, we're not wasting time teaching him the part because the longer we take in the studio, the more it could potentially cost money. So we want to be like, pat, 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 pat. So this is the clip of me singing that section of the song, highly auto-tuned.
Get your cameras out.
We can watch it like a Marcel caster, and wreaking havoc like a natural disaster. She walks her normal life and more than horse than me. She's gonna earn her crown, so hail to the queen. 'Cause she's a rebel princess, she's the best. She's a ball of lightning in a hot red dress. She's a thunderstorm running through the night. She's a shooting star, she's lighting up the sky.
Notice this is different than what I ended up later. That's all I was saying. So I left a lot of blank space there because I know that somebody who's much better than me was going to take a crack at it, and I wanted to give him space. So if you have heard the song before, the final version, he does a lot of like really high, cool, Fall Out Boy kind of falsetto thing. And that was sort of the thing where we're just like, listen, you just have fun in this blank section right here. Just do whatever you want. And he did. And also you notice the guitar solo was taken out because I didn't play the guitar solo. A good friend of mine came in and played the guitar solo because my guitar chops are pretty bad. So, yeah, I just wanted to show you some behind the scenes stuff on the song. That's all I got.
All right, next we have Becky, who was characters
when Aaron was talking about outlines for each episode, me and the other character designer Stephanie are given the outline, and we go through with Darren and see what new characters there are, and we'll do concept art of like any new characters in the episode. So here's like the concept art for Hecapoo. So I think the outline just said like a girl made of fire or something like that. It was like fairly vague. So I did a whole bunch of versions and then showed them to Darren, and then she picked out the second one there. And then yeah, right there.
Yeah, and as you can see, it was just spot on, totally perfect. That is exactly what Hecapoo ended up looking like.
Yeah, the other ones I think are like too serious looking, so I'm talking about with the number 2 Hecapoo. And then once the concept art's been picked out, it's sent to the storyboarders, and then they'll draw the characters on the board. And then once the storyboards are done...
Is that me?
But, oh yeah, so we'll go back to that. But anyway, so yeah, I'm mostly going to talk about running with scissors. And originally we were going to do Adol Marco as like a samurai, but he kind of looked too much like Samurai Jack. So we ended up going more with like a Mad Max kind of look. So I think it's the next one there.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so, and I think it kind of did like a combination of some of these. And also some of them I accidentally gave him like a child's head. Anyway. Yeah, so the concept art's given to the storyboarders, and then as you see the storyboards up top there, most of these were done by John Mathot and Gina Gress and Piero. I'm not going to say his last name, I don't know how to say it. Peluso?
Peluso, yeah.
Peluso, sorry. Peluso. And so you have to do different angles of the character if there's a new character, or if like a character like stars a different outfit, you need to do various angles of them. And for Adol Marco, we needed like the hood up, and he has like a tattoo, so I did a larger version of that. And then there's some expressions down there, since those are important to have.
Yeah, and you can see the expressions are kind of following the board up top.
Yeah. Yeah, the board drawings were really funny, so I wanted to make sure to stick close to those. Oh yeah, and here's the dragon cycle, so I did 2 different versions of that. Nachos. Yeah, nachos. And definitely had to change the 666 to 667. And we went with B, but I think wings got added to it. So then in the next one, you'll see the turn of the dragon cycle. And yeah, see there's wings added to this version of it. The license plate is changed. And then there's like a side view of the face and the eyes closed. Just little things like that are put up in the animation studio.
Yeah, actually, a little fun fact, the blood moon ball coming every 667 years. So we tried.
It's a cool number. It's tougher. Oh yeah, so there's also special poses which are needed if like the character is like in just like a weird angle, or the pose just seems like something that the overseas animation studio might have trouble with. Or like this one in particular was needed for the lighting, so lighting was very specific. And then there's like, I think there's a couple more special poses. Yeah, this is like another one that's needed for the lighting. And then also ones with characters interacting are important to do. Oh yeah, another one with lighting. There's like weird expressions like this. Like Gina did such a good job with the boards, I wanted to stick like fairly close to those.
Yeah, we have to provide all this stuff for the studios when we go off model for RDK and Sugar Cube. We need to send those drawings, and of course, you know, like this is like, here's a stand-in for the log, and
oh yes,
I have to give that to them.
Yeah, there's there's a prop artist, so usually those are done by the prop artist, and I'll just like loosely draw it in there. Yeah, this is one of my favorite Star special poses. Yeah, Gina's board was just so good. I just tried very hard to stick close to that. This is the most important drawing that I've ever done.
So they called me in that day. They're like,
It's pretty amazing. It's sight to behold. Just a precious moment. Yeah, it's important to do characters. Oh yeah, so this is how I do the special poses. I'll enlarge the storyboard, and then I'll put the model over it, so I can try not to get too far off the model. And then I like do a rough over it, and then I go through and do a cleanup version, and then also add like his stubble and details like that too. And then, oh yeah, the next one's like, so there's also like incidental characters, like in Running with Scissors, there was this man bun dog walker guy, and like Gina's drawing was so good that I wanted to stick close to that, but I had to bring it more into the show style, so like the eyes are further apart and things like that. So it's a balance of trying to make sure that you're doing it close to the show style, but also like staying true to the boards. Yeah, here's like a cool bird that was there for 2 seconds. But you need to see like the inside of the mouth, for example. They need that to know like what color it is or like how that works. So there's like, or like the eyes blinking, things like that are needed for the animation studios. And then since I did like so much acting in this episode, it was really important to do a bunch of expressions of her. And since she's in other episodes too, so these could be sent to the storyboarders for future episodes and the animation studios. Oh yes, and crowd scenes. These are one of the harder things to do, but this one wasn't too bad because I could just copy and paste her most of the time. little secret there. But so usually when the characters are close to the screen in crowd scenes, you do them pretty detailed, and then the further back they go, you do less detail, and like it's kind of hard to see, but like the last row is just like a silhouette of the crowd, and that's called a bubble crowd, because if you do each individual character, it just starts to look like a mess. So that's one way to do crowds. Oh, and size comps are also very important. So then you don't have the characters constantly changing sizes throughout the episode, because like a lot of the boarders aren't going to draw them the exact same size, and sometimes the size isn't really worked out until the models are done. So this is super important for the animation studios. And also mouth charts. So there was a mouth chart for Marco, but there needed to be a specific one for adult Marco. Because in this show, we actually do the jaws moving for the mouth charts, and a lot of shows don't do that. And since he had like a different jaw and he had the stubble, the mouth chart, there needed to be a new one made of like how that would work. And that's all. Thank you.
Background paint.
Hi. You guys are still awake? Alright. I'm here representing our amazing background department. We have 4 killer designers, we have an awesome art director, and then 3 other painters and myself. And one of those painters is the paint supervisor. So we're really lucky we get to play in this cool world that Darren has created, and the first season art directors, Justin and Josh Parpan, kind of built this great sandbox for us. So we're just trying to do the show proud and them proud. But I think that I have one of the coolest jobs on the show because I realize that I'm one of the few people who creates finished artwork. You know, everybody else has come before me and done all this amazing work. The writers have come, and the board artists and directors have come, and then the layout artists come and they do the layouts, and then they hand it off to us, and we just make it look pretty. And then we get to take credit for all that stuff that they did, leading up to what we do. So that's fun for us. You know, we get the oohs and ahs, but really a lot of the hard work comes before we even see this stuff. So I just wanted to show you examples of what I've done on the show. This is from Little in the Wild. I think I'm maybe always channeling a little bit of Samurai Jack. I don't show too much, but the style of our, this is a fun one because it's all, you know, it's this desolate, weird planet, and it was mostly a quiet episode, so the artwork really gets to breathe in this one. And we had a fun time kind of deviating from the usual earthbound stuff or mediebound stuff. I always seem to get the bathroom shots. I don't know why, but this one's I think pretty closely based on the bathroom at DTVA, and I've been on other shows and done other bathrooms before. But one thing that separates Disney from those shows is that if you have a bathroom shot, it's going to be the cleanest bathroom. Because that's just the Disney standard of quality.
But now it's the actual bathroom this is based off of, as clean as this.
No, just in, yeah. Not in reality, it's not really that clean.
We're dealing with a fantasy universe here, people.
We show you what we want to show you. Convenience store.
Love all the cute details.
Yeah, so on this one, if you have so many elements to try and manage, it's good to break it down into real simple lighting so that things don't get too busy. Our job is to really set a nice stage for the characters and not to overwhelm them, but to make the world feel rich and to reflect the story points. We want to make sure that we're hitting the right moods. If it's romantic, we want that. If it's spooky, we want to really sell that. So, and in general, for background paint, we get, they want us to do a painting a day or a painting in a day and a half or so. But sometimes ones like these are more involved and they'll take 3 days or up to maybe 4 or 5 days if it's a really wide shot with lots of detail. But we're trying to simplify, trying to group colors and make it make sense. So a lot of these are when we're still earthbound in the episodes, but one of the coolest aspects of our show is that we get to go anywhere. Darren's created this awesome world where there's magic and we go inside wands and we get to go to other planets, and so as a painter that's really fun because we're never bored. We always get to do something new and something fun. So this one I want to mention is dedicated to our line producer, whose name is Britta Reitman, and that was, she forced us to put her name on the top of the stand. She's so mean.
I remember we started with some different names for taco stands, but our legal department, anytime you have a title, like of anything, like a shop or something, they will look and see if there's any other one in existence. So it was like, we couldn't do Taco the Town, and we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, and eventually it was like, we'll just name it after Britta. I'm sure there's no Britta's Tacos in the world.
Doesn't really say authentic tacos to me.
But it's hilarious.
But there are a lot of Easter eggs like this in the show where it's just little call-outs to stuff that we think is fun.
Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you want to stop when I exit.
So our show kind of, from my point of view, I think the show is drawing from a few different references heavily. I would say a bunch of children's book illustration from the 60s is prevalent in the show style, but we're also looking at, I think backgrounds come from some Looney Tunes influence, and there's some Ivan Earl and some of that stuff, and just other animated shows, but I think the style was really born out of Josh Parpan's soul too. So as a painter, that's difficult at first to tap into somebody else's brain while you're working. You're trying to do your best version of them. So yeah, and then that's an example of us doing a paste up where the characters put in the background, make sure that he doesn't totally disappear. But we always want, selfishly, the background team always wants our backgrounds to be the star. The star is supposed to be the characters, but we're always trying to push it.
Yeah, there's always a lot of fun details that like this little owl story time, stuff like that. That's usually created by our lab and background.
Yeah, the layout guys are awesome at doing fun little posters and stuff. But sometimes we'll, so basically everybody on our team, if they're a designer, they know how to paint. And if they're a painter, they know how to design. And that comes in handy because the designers are thinking about how we're going to paint stuff when we get to that. Actually, I should stop for a second. This one, I put in something that's important here in the next version of this one is that we, when we're designing or when we're painting, we think about how the value structure is working, and so we'll check that as we go. We'll turn off all the color and make sure that the background works in black and white only. And if it's working in black and white, then you have a little bit more freedom with the color, but the values have to be solid, which means that everything in the room has to have its own silhouette, it has to read for the most part, and that the focal point is strong for the characters to interact. So if you go to the next shot, you'll see the black and white version. So that's what it looks like in black and white, pretty close to the color version of this thing. But we'll check that on every background, make sure that we're doing our job right. And so we're channeling stuff when we go to the magic recognition, we're channeling stuff like Vegas. So we'll just get special requests, or it's usually pretty obvious what we're supposed to do based on how the design is brought about. So here's so this one, when I was painting it, I really felt like I was channeling Looney Tunes a lot. Like there's something about it that feels like old Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes cartoons to me, and I had a really fun time doing it. The original art director Josh was looking at Paul Julian sometimes. He was one of the Looney Tunes painters from the 60s.
Drake, did you have a favorite episode that you worked on?
I always like the St. O's stuff because it's so moody. Anything where there's mood is where I really have the most fun. So I like the Bonbon episode a lot. That one was creepy and fun. They're all, because we have such a diverse bunch of episodes, the greatest part about the job is that we're always on our toes, we never get bored. And we're always getting to jump into something new. It makes it a lot more work too. This one was, I think, one of our crew's favorite episodes. And I did a couple of these backgrounds, but I really loved how the rest of the paint team handled Hekaku's lair and just the whole thing seems, I think there are certain episodes where you sort of adopt them as your baby, so you put a little extra effort into them. And I always like these Romulus ones, these are fun. All the fractals and gems and stuff. So I put in part of what we do on the TM2. This is a 3-step process for this location because there are all these characters trapped in the gems. And so that's the character designer and color stylist design path. Did you do those, Becky, or did you?
Oh yeah, Becky.
Yeah, so those are Becky's awesome characters. And then one of the color stylists hit them, and then they gave them back to the paint team, and then Carrie painted them back into the crystal structures so that they're integrated.
They're hidden away.
Yeah. So that's sort of the back and forth between the team a little bit. And then the next one is from a layout standpoint. This is what the layout artists do. They'll do black and white line art first, and usually they'll do a couple rough passes, and Israel will make his notes, and then the next phase is really nice for us. They do our shapes for us. So they'll lay in all the flat shapes, and then we just come in at the end and sprinkle our colors on, and then light them and make sure that the areas of the action are getting the most focus. So there's action by the door, and there's action at the bottom of the stairs in this episode, and so we've combined this whole scene into one long background, and we paint that for reference, and overseas we'll usually cut in on the areas that they need. Here's our little tribute to Lisa Frank, the queen of sparkles. When we do we get little special scenes, and we get to deviate from the style a little bit, and that's a fun break. And then some of what we do is just to take a background that was painted before and then do a different lighting pass on it, and that saves us some time. It's not just doing a layer mode on top, but it's a little more involved in that, but it's easier than repainting the background from scratch, which is a big advantage for doing everything in Photoshop.
Yeah, of course, this background was originally done for Star vs. Echo Creek, and then we went back there in Just Friends, where we have this more romantic, moody lighting here.
So another big aspect of the show is atmosphere. We're always trying to push the atmosphere as much as possible to draw your focus and to create mood, and that was true of the first season, and we're always conscious of that. But these ones are the most fun for me, like the super creepy forest stuff. And then I did a night pass on Josh Carpen's painting from season 1, and I can't take most of the credit because I did the night version, but I thought it looked pretty, so here it is. And then here's another special scene where we're kind of channeling some Mary Blair inspiration with these little cutesy characters that Sanjay Lee designed in the background. And, so that was a nice departure. And there's Queen's room. And then more creepy stuff. And then we'll end it with a party. Bonfire party.
Okay, so now is the time where we're to put away the cameras, put that down. We're not going we're probably not going to have to do sneak peeks and stuff in the future if any of you put this online. So please. So yeah, everybody, no cameras, no. Okay, so you guys get to be the very special people that get to see the very first sneak peek of season 3. Yes, Adam, is there something you would like to say?
I just got to see this yesterday, and I've been freaking out ever since. I'm so excited that some people will know.
Okay, I have some behind the scenes stuff on it, but I'm just going to show the actual thing first, so here we go.
Can we do it again? Do not take your phone out.
outside of Disney to let us fund new credits. You know, we were really excited to get to do new artwork. So I'm glad y'all like it. All right, Q&A. Anybody want to raise your hand? Anybody want to read it? Okay, I'll show you first.
Are there any deleted scenes you guys really wish were in the episode? I mean, it's kind of fun.
Anybody answer for yourself? Oh, well, there's actually, I'm surprised nobody saw this, so people can go upstairs later on our wall. We had we actually got this back in animation. You know where Marco's like kissing the bicycle tire and Star on Wheels? So at first we had him kissing it a little bit more, and then Korea, whoever was animating it, really went to town. I mean, he is really making out with that bicycle tire. I thought it was so funny. Of course, that was like, no, that is not going in the show. So I did kind of miss it, and there's an image of it upstairs if you look hard on the wall.
Yeah, actually, so I tweeted a stage direction from a script at one point, and all it said was licking noises. That's what it was from. It was from that scene where he was licking glasses.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna ask. So, Marco, what's your favorite long sentence song? If you want to sing any part of it.
See, I think that's a question you should have asked Brian. What's your favorite Love Simmons song?
The feeling. Oh my God, why am I saying it? Also feeling, but then I also like.
I can read you in as Tom.
Yeah!
I'll read you in as Tom.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I'm also too little.
Actually, I gotta say, this was like the first time I got goosebumps on working on the show. I wasn't there when you and Ryder recorded friend enemies thing, and I just heard it. All right, let's try. Oh girl, you know I never meant to hurt you. And when you said that I would never desert you, ooh, you were my angel, my beautiful dove.
We spiraled high on a gust of love, and I knew right from the start nothing could tear us apart. Till the day you broke my heart, and now it's a little too late.
What does it take to get into your position? Like what degrees? Because for someone that wants to eventually also get into writing shows and creating characters and whatnot.
I mean, I don't think you have to have a degree in anything really, because the work speaks for itself in the animation jobs. For me, I went to CalArts for character animation, which I think did help quite a bit. But really, I think why it helps quite a bit is they have you make your own film every single year, and you have to do that process from start to finish. So you're writing it, you're designing the characters, you're designing the environment, you're storyboarding it, you're trying to find actors and recording it, you're actually animating it, you're doing the editing all by yourself. You're doing the whole film from start to finish, even if it's just 2 minutes, all by yourself. And I think that that's probably why a lot of people from CalArts in the animation program go to make their own shows, just because it's a little less daunting, I think, when you know how everything connects and you've actually gone through the process. So yeah, I would recommend trying to go to a place like CalArts where they have a program like that, or just make a film yourself. Your first one will be terrible, but then you keep making more, and each one gets a little bit better. And I think that just by forcing yourself to get over any fear of just starting and just doing it and not caring if it's bad, I think that's how you get better at stuff.
Just do it.
Just do it. Do the thing. How about and changing. So yeah, we didn't do it.
There's a little star.
There's a little star.
Hello there, what is your question?
I just want to know, in this season, is anyone going to die?
Thank you, that is my favorite question. And I'm very sorry, but we can't answer that one.
No.
Well, we could.
Alright, we have time for one more question. How about the speller with the watch?
Was there this could be for everyone, but was there a particular moment in the show that actually aired where you go, I can't believe they let that in?
Oh, absolutely, the magic. Do you guys agree?
Goblin dogs. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
I think there's one that we have recently where we got a note on it. We're like, well, let's wait and see what S&B says when we get it back in animation. And then they sort of forgot about it. I remember there's one line in Blood Moon Ball where Tom says he warns, or Marco warns Star about Tom. He says never go with a predator to a second location. They flagged that up front. I think they kind of forgot about it on the back.
For me, when I read it too, I was like, what? How does this get in here? When Marco's getting ready in the bathroom and Jim and Shanna smacks him on the butt. And she's like, Shanna's done.
There's a rap in Star on Wheels with the guy who plays Napoleon Dynamite, the father from Arrested Development, and Marco. I was like, why does this exist? This is a weird thing to actually be real. And we did it, and then I can't believe it.
In Hungry Larry, when there's a big Frankenstein and it's referred to a blow-up doll like 3 times.
I think the banana one takes it for me. It's still like, that just blows me away. That's a whole episode.
By the way, the magic is banned in England. That was our one episode I think that has ever been banned. I think it's never aired in England. They don't approve.
You know they all illegally downloaded it. You should stop doing.
What? Please don't do that.
DVD just saw season 2 again for like the 3rd time.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Hey, it's all on Hulu, season 1 and 2.
Yes, oh my gosh, just thank you for the desserts. They are amazing. The Marco, I can't even believe it. It's so beautiful. Actually, somebody told me about it. It's beautiful.
My friend is friends with Lorraine on your staff, and we wanted to make a bunch of stuff, but she had a family thing, so we were working like all morning, so I came a little late. So we made like Marco sugar skull masks, and then we made the cupcake blast, which I saw was in the opening.
So cool.
And then we also made we made stars brownies, and like we made them purposely like messy and stuff, but like also I put in a bunch of fudge and it kind of collapsed the brownies, but I'm like, sorry to put a bunch of fudge in there.
It's all so weird. Okay, so we wrap up.
Yes, please.
I think now we're going. Here's an announcement.
Alright, so we're going to take a short break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll proceed with the signing. Before that, let's give them a round of applause.